there. But like it doesn't matter if you watch them on TV. They suck, but they literally fill the stadium because there's nothing else to do in Lincoln, Nebraska. You know what I mean? So
great atmosphere, great college town. Like I love those kind of places when it's just football and you can and if you're 3-7 but you still get 80,000 people in your stadium, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not, and I was looking back at the 2005 season when we played at the Orange Bowl. Like I think we averaged our average attendance was like 37,000 that year. Like crazy. But again, you're talking about college kids and at 12 o'clock at noon. You think against Rutgers? I'm just throwing a name out, but you think those kids, they want to go and watch, the team play? No, they'd rather be at the beach.
I would have gone, man. I
was. Yeah, Cole and I were there.
I was there,
dude. People say that all the time, and maybe I just don't get it because I'm not from South Florida. But dude, I have a hard time with that, man. I often want to put South Florida sports fans on blast and be like, you know what, guys, I don't care how much you have to do, like you know what I mean? It doesn't compute for me.
No.
Yeah.
Even the 01. In a metropolitan area, like with millions of people, like you'd think that you could get a few more people to it's not just the Canes games, like it's obviously Marlins games and Dolphins games, Heat games, Panthers. Like Panthers, like we're fair weather fans. I mean, not I, but like a majority of South Florida fans are fair weather, and like if the Canes are playing, like Virginia at noon or Bethune-Cookman at noon, like a lot of people just aren't going to go.
You just got to show up, man. You just got to.
They had, I think the ACC network the other day had the Miami Central Michigan game on from and I'm thinking like we only scored 17 points against Central Michigan. Like how bad? And we gave up 12. How bad are we?
Bro, I was out of town for that game, and on Sunday I came and saw the score. I was like, wait, what?
Dude, that game was the big giveaway for this whole season. Like,
but then you put up 62 against Louisville. Like there were so many different like emotions up and down. Like
that Central Michigan game. It was so when we called a screen pass on our own 1 yard line.
Oh, brutal.
I literally said, "Wait, this is what we waited all off season for."
Yeah,
this is our offensive line was so putrid that game. Like, thank goodness for our defense, and we could say that about a lot of games. But wow, it was. That game especially, I mean, I thought we should have won by 50, and when we won 5, it was so, like, just infuriating. So infuriating because, like, you see how – and this goes for, like, the Duke game, the FIU game, the Louisiana Tech game. It's not that other teams are more talented than we are. It's just all of the other things.
Oh, I mean, dude, it's been that way as long as I've been watching Miami football.
Yeah.
I remember being in like 6th grade having that conversation with my friends, and they're just like, "What's going on?" It's like, man, I do not know because we're gonna have 5 players drafted this year. We got way more talent than anyone, than most, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know what's wrong. But
that's what I hate the talent argument when people say, "Oh, but we have so much more talent." I'm like, we've been saying that for 15 years. Like, then why are we going 6-7 with quote unquote so much talent? Like, it comes down to the right scheme. Coaching. It comes down to coaching. It comes down to the culture inside of your locker room. It depends. Like, there's so many things that go into a winning football team, and I've just. Like a lot of people know that I've just been like diving so deep into, what goes into a winning culture in a football program. I've been reading so much about guys like Bill Walsh, things like that. And it just goes to show you when you have that much talent, but you're 6-7, the culture is just not there. And it starts with your head coach and it just trickles down. And but you have to think that with the kind of guys that we have, and especially with the assistants that Manny has hired, that culture is trending in the right direction. And I think that's why people are appreciating the hires of Garen Justice, Rob Likens, Rhett Lashley, guys like that so much because the culture feels different. It feels like the team is more together, and I think that's what we've been missing.
Yeah, and
well, when you have your leadership, and I say leadership as your quarterback, when you have your quarterback who is supposed to be the leader of your team not doing what he's supposed to be doing, other guys follow, right? So now your receivers aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Your running backs aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. The offensive line's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, you got to lead by example. Your coaches can only do so much, right? Your coaches can only set you up, and I don't want to say they're going to set you up for failure, but they can only set you up to progress and move forward. And if you don't want to take it upon yourself to heed that, then who do you blame?
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to what I was saying. Like, it didn't start with just one of our quarterbacks. Like, it happened with two of our quarterbacks. And, like, what do? There's, like, I go back to the depth, like in the linebackers. We had no depth for somebody to come up. Like, you heard what Rocky said, right? Like, we had to get it every day, every play, or else somebody else was getting our spot. And I feel like that's what we've been missing. We don't have that next man. Correct, accountability. I'm taking your spot. You want to take off a couple plays? You want to take off a game? But, dude, now you're third string. They didn't have that back then. Them guys were dogfighting every single day out on that field, whether it was practice or whether it was a game, because they wanted to solidify their position.
Yeah. And, I'd even argue that, you could push it past the head coach and say that it starts with the board of trustees. I think it's very telling in that, Randy Shannon, Al Golden era, that the priorities graduation rates than football, because we're forcing Randy on a low budget to hit a certain benchmark with graduation rates, and we won't even give him a practice facility. Think of how long it took us and how many hurdles we had to jump, and we had to have a super wealthy head coach donate his money. He had to give back to the school to get a building built, and it's just ridiculous, man. It's like I do not want to cut the board any slack there, because they clearly put football on the back burner for 15 years, and I think the fans finally have put enough pressure on them that it's become a priority again.
Well, obviously that's what generates a lot of revenue. Obviously, if you look in the early 90s and things like that, the late 80s, early 90s, those winning programs were generating so much more money for the school. New buildings were popping up. Yep. Medical facilities were being popped up. But again, like, with Miami not being as relevant as they used to be, that literally hurts, the school, because what do you have to show? You're not going to that New Year's Six bowl game where you're guaranteed, X amount of dollars, to help, funnel this or funnel that. So I think once the program gets viable and gets more prevalent, that's going to only, help them, like, economically.
Yeah. Well, and it's just the administration, and just like Jordan was saying, just like the board of trustees, like the failure to realize, like, what the football, they have to realize that the football program is what put the school and university on a map to begin with. And so just the failure to and make football so important at the school, like the last 15 years, has been one of the downfalls for the program. And so, but I think last year, and I wrote about this like last week, that last year was the humbling experience that the program, not just the fans needed, but like the entire program needed to realize that, like, whoa, like this can't be tolerated anymore. Like, we have to get this thing back on the right track. And so, oh man, hopefully this season happens and we can show people what we're made of. Guys, number 17 in the preseason polls.
Yeah.
Man.
It's pretty cool.
Obviously that's speaking volumes coming off a 6-7, season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
I would be so disappointed. Like, so my girl, like, is so hoping we do not have football. Like, and I tell you this, like, she's like, we're not having football for 2 years. I'm so happy, and I'm like, please don't say that, but that's her opinion. She just feels like the world's coming to an end with this COVID thing. And, but I still think at some point you got to play.
Yeah.
You have to play.
Yeah. That's all I can say is just yeah. I mean, if changes need to be made and if it needs to stop, do that. But let's just go out there and play and take it from there, man.
See what happens. Yeah, you got to see what happens, man.
Exactly.
You can't put us in a bubble and just say, okay, well, this, you're not going to be able to control everybody every day. You got to be out there, go out there and do something. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But
all right, boys. Well, Coe, you are welcome on our show anytime you want. You're our guy. We love you, man. And hopefully we are back tomorrow talking with Andres Borregales and also another guest that we have planned on. But you guys have anything else to say? All I got to say is go Canes and thank you to Rocky.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man.
Yep, absolutely.
I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing. And, hopefully, we like I said a little earlier, man, we get this thing with Larry and we get this thing rolling over on Slam and, see where that takes us,
Yeah, absolutely. All the way to the top.
Yes, sir.
You already know. I'm there. So,
all right, boys. Go Canes.
Enjoy your night, guys. Go Canes.
Hey, go Canes.
All right, guys. Later.
Yeah.
This has been the Fours Up Podcast. Remember to like and leave a comment to help our podcast grow. Follow me on Twitter at